It's not the ones that you remove that you should worry about. It's the ones that you tolerate. They're going to be a student of the game because they know that's why not? Like if they know what to do, why not learn from them? Save me the pain of learning something. Winners are prepared with their routines. They're prepared and thoughtful with their meetings, their relationships. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see everyone that's in the audience today. Appreciate you jumping on live as we're launching the Clear channel on December 15th, 2023. I have some content today I wanted to cover. I think can make a big impact on your career development, and also your ability to build teams. So happy holidays, first of all, to everyone out there. My hope for all of you that watch the channel is 2024 is the best, the absolute best year of your life. So I'll tell you, I've read a ton of books, and one of the books that I've read that made a big difference on me was a book called Unstoppable. So some of the things I came up with were some things I read in there. It kind of sparked some content. So, a lot of people I know this time of year in December are thinking about how to make 2024, finish 2023 strong, but make 2024 a big year. And so I want to talk about two types of personality types. So if you're watching it live, maybe you should, as an example, on your piece of paper, just draw a straight line down the paper, and then there's me things on the left side, things on the right side. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can maybe play along as well. But I'm going to talk about two very different types of people in the world and in business and in life. I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies with my kids lately. We went through the entire sequence from the beginning to the end. We're getting to Endgame as our next one. So I'm in the world of Marvel right now. So we got Negatrons on one side, and we got positrons on the other side. I know. This is we're getting started on a Friday morning. All right, so I want to tell you about negatrons. There's two types of negatrons that are in the workplace and that are on teams that you got to be very aware of. And as a leader and as a business person, if you're interested in building teams, you got to figure out how to make sure these negatrons don't impact the overall growth and overall success of your business. So when I think of negatrons, these are people that are unemployed, but they're still on payroll. I'm going to say that again. They're actually unemployed, but they're still on payroll. And it's interesting because these are people that are among the team, but they're not really interested in the purpose and the goal and what's happening in the workplace or in the organization. And I'll tell you, it's not the ones that you remove if you're a leader and you're in a position of leadership where you make decisions on personnel and people in general. It's not the ones that you remove that you should worry about. It's the ones that you tolerate that make the biggest difference. And I've noticed this with young entrepreneurs and young business people. They're very interested in a social world. They're very interested in what a like in a restaurant, like the social aspect of the bar and everything else and hanging out, and they get clouded and very cloudy in their mind of what it does to the business if there's a bartender, if there's someone that's not living the values of the organization, of the team. And, so huge issue with these negatrons because they're not interested in being there. They're there because they're maybe receiving a paycheck. They're not interested in, being a part of building something special. They do just enough to get by. And in a sales culture like ours, these are the people that unfortunately, it's a kind of worst part of what I do for a living is I get to sit down with people and tell them things they already know. And tell them if they don't change the things they need to change, then they have to leave. And then they change for a week or two and perform and show that they can do it when they are bottom lined. And then they go back to their same old habits. They go back to the same old ways, right? And that's one negatron in the business. So be aware of those negatrons. And if you're, again, a position of leadership, talk to leadership, figure out how to get those people out of the team, out of the situation. The other type of negatron is actually someone who's a perceived top performer. A perceived top performer is someone who performs, and they sometimes perform at a high level in certain aspects, again, maybe in sales, but they don't actually live the values of the company. They actually violate the values of the business and of leadership and of things in general. These are people that they're top performers, but they constantly have drama in their lives. They constantly, like in the business that we're in sales and retail, they may have tons of sales, but then they have issues with customers or issues with sales or quality and things like that. And again, this is really tough because unfortunately those people are very selfishly minded, very I driven, and it impacts anything that involves a team. And so again, young leadership and young entrepreneurs tend to tolerate people like that in their culture because they think, unfortunately, short-sighted, they think it will change over time, and they think over time that person won't be a big deal. But what ultimately happens is because they're a perceived top performer, the negative values and the behaviors, and these are people that unfortunately at the most extreme businesses, like these are people that commit fraud and they just do terrible acts in companies and teams. Like this is like when I think of sports, like these are the superstar athletes that got the big contracts. And then on Twitter, they're walking around a nightclub and they're causing issues with, weapons and other things. Like that's a problem. That's a problem in an organization, right? That's a problem if somebody wants to have a winning culture. But what happens with the best leadership and the best people that want to run winning teams and have legacies is they don't put up with it. They start removing people like that. Although it may hit revenue temporarily, they remove them from a value-driven organization because they don't want that long-term. Because unfortunately what happens is when people are corrupt or they're drama-filled and they have issues in general, it impacts the up-and-comers, the next generation, the people that will continue to build the legacy of a winning program or a winning team. So those are negatrons. If you're taking notes, you drew that line down the middle, you put in the notes on the left side, you're looking at that and you're like, man, I don't want to be that person, right? I don't want to be a part of that world because that world doesn't translate to maybe goals that I have or the success I have. And again, some of that stuff can be extreme. I'm talking about the basics and fundamentals. It's like habits and things that people, say they want to change, but they never really change, right? And then you move over to the positrons, the people that are becoming unstoppable, becoming really what they want to do. And keep in mind, positrons and people that are unstoppable, people that are going places, they weren't born this way. They weren't born this way. They were simply over time made. They want to grow, and they know inside out is how they're going to take on the things they need to take on. They're going to be a student of the game. They're going to change things that are uncomfortable. They're going to lean into things that they know they have to change, that are, it's just they don't want to sometimes because of their mind, and it's all mindset stuff. They also know that sometimes short-term positivity from maybe somebody who believes in them can clue them into making some real change. I think sometimes I've found in life that given somebody a positive impact or some type of influence in a positive way and saying, hey, listen, I know you can do this. When you make these changes, I know you're going to be amazing at this. And that could be the belief you need to shift from being a negatron in a way to moving over to a positron and really moving into becoming unstoppable. And when you plant seeds like that, if you're a leader and you're managing people, you're developing other people, if you're in a role where you can put positivity out there, those seeds, it's not going to determine whether or not they're going to do it. that individual will have to water their own seeds. They'll have to water their own thoughts. They'll have to really lean into the things they have to do. But sometimes as a leader, if you plant a couple seeds and really help people, realize that they have something special inside, it will help them make the moves that they need to make. And I'll tell you, being successful is not just something that happens. Being successful is doing a lot of little things over time, repeated, that are really boring at times, that translate to building something special. I just think of the basics of health. There's so many people. There's a trainer that's a good friend of mine that I've been working with for a period of time. There's so many people that he tells me this time of year that are asking for his services. And they'll work with them in the new year for a few weeks. And it's not cheap to have some of the trainers that go to the gym. And they'll be there for a few weeks and then they'll fade away, right? Because it's the impulse has died. But it's the daily things. It's not what you do in a day. It's what you do daily that will determine how successful you'll be. And when you choose to do the little things and you choose to take on the little things that, or sometimes you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. Do that. Lean into that. Those are the things that will do it. But I'll tell you, positrons and people that are unstoppable, people that are real game changers in the game of business and in the game of life, they're obsessed with making changes into that self-development and to improving themselves. I'll tell you, there are also people that know when they change, everything else changes. They take a ton of accountability and understanding that if they're going to accomplish something great, it's not going to be given to them. It's not going to be handed to them. It's something they're going to lean into and they're going to change inside to accomplish. And I'll tell you that, the positrons, if in a team environment, in a sports environment, the game changers, they also know that in a team environment that there's going to be people that show up in a day that are just not going to be feeling it. They're not going to be at their best. And as a positron or a game changer, they also know that's not them. It's going to be somebody else because they take full accountability for being ready for what they need to do, right? They're not going to be the inconsistent ones showing up in the game of business. They take full accountability. And lastly, positrons and people that are unstoppable are super humble. They often want a ton of coaching. They want perspective. They want to know what other people think. They want to know if someone's in a position that they want to be in, someone's in a role that's ahead of them in their career. They will take out their notepad. They'll ask questions, and if they get your driving results with integrity and with strong values, they're going to be a student. They're going to be a student of the game because they know that's why not. Like if they know what to do, why not learn from them? Save me the pain of learning something. And I'll tell you, between the two, between a negatron and a positron, I've realized that a lot of it has to do with what's going on in the mind, in the mindset. So I want to give you guys, 7 things that a winner has in their mindset that really will determine and really will help them succeed in 2024. And remember, being successful is not about conditions. It doesn't matter the conditions. Someone in our office posted something like this recently. It was awesome. It's not about the conditions. It's about the decisions that people make. I've seen this in business where we've had growth opportunities and expansions and different client projects, et cetera. And I'll tell you that there's been a client or two in the past that the situation that we have leadership in and try and drive revenue, it was not a good situation. Like it just, the deal was not a good deal. But we had an amazing leader in that market, in that situation, and they still got amazing results. And then on the flip side, we've had scenarios where the client, the situation was so perfect, and we had a leader, we had someone running the situation and management, whatever. And unfortunately, based on their habits and their daily decisions and kind of how they were, they absolutely screwed it up. So it's just very interesting to me to see that over time, how life tends to work out. But trust me, it's not about the conditions. It is about the decisions. So if you want to be a winner, this is some mindset stuff that'll help you win in the game of life in 2024. When it comes to motivation, so number one would be motivation. Winners are internally motivated and they're disciplined. I ran into my buddy who was on the channel before. My buddy Sean is an NFL referee, and ran into him at the gym a few days ago. And he just mentions to me, he's like, I saw him talking to himself, and he's like, I'm just trying to get motivated. I'm like, what? You're the elite of the elite when it comes to athletics. An NFL referee, the sixth African American referee in the history of the NFL. Like, you are the elite. I was like, you need to be motivated? He goes, yeah, but I just stick to my discipline. And I'm like, that's exactly right, man. First of all, it makes me feel so good that you're human, right? That you're not inhuman. And I said, secondly, I was like, that's so true. It has nothing to do with anything but your discipline when it comes to motivation. So lean into that. But winners are motivated, and they internally are motivated from inside. It's not outside people chirping out or whatever. It's inside. It comes out, and they stay disciplined. Number two, when it comes to time, winners and people that are going to succeed are early, they're prepared, and they're very thoughtful on where they're putting their time and who they're putting their time into, right? Because they go into life, they're not just letting life come at them and missing things here. No, it's like they're thinking through. They have a schedule. They block things out. They're controlling the time because they know that everyone on the planet has 24 hours. No one has 26. No one has 15. Everyone has 24. Just some people are millionaires in that 24 time, or even billionaires, and they use that time to build businesses and to create things and have amazing families and have amazing relationships. And then other people have the world happen to them, right? But winners are the ones that are early, prepared, and intentional. And number three, when it comes to preparation. So number three is preparation. Winners are prepared with their routines. They're prepared and thoughtful with their meetings, their relationships. If they're learning something new, they study their materials. They actually put effort into being the best. I know a young sales person, many, many years ago myself, I picked up sales books and I read sales books. It was the first time in my life being in commission sales and knowing that my impact, my effort, my activity would directly impact my income, right? It wasn't because I went to a certain school or I knew a certain person, whatever. And so I thought to myself, man, in my early 20s, if I could make $100,000 a year doing sales, then I need to learn the skills. And I'll tell you, my dad was pretty open with me what he thought about my career choices. Engineer, wasn't into sales, but he said, we'll find out real quick if you're any good. Don't call me for money. And so I was like, I took that as a challenge. I took that as, you trying to tell me I'm not going to be good at this, But I took that and I used that fuel and drove myself to be even more prepared in my craft. So number three is preparation. Number four, winners and again, game changers, people that do amazing things. When it comes to culture, they're the ones that are the catalyst. They're the ones that are making the culture better. They're not the ones they walk into the office and they're taking away from the culture by their attitude and their mindset, their lack of, looking the part and being well prepared for their day and their energies and everything else. They're ones that are going to make an impact, make it a positive impact. Even if they're super new at it, they're going to be smiling. They're going to be thankful. They're going to be just a great person to be around. And then if they're in leadership, they're the ones that actually are driving the culture and making it fun and making it a place that people want to be. Number five, winners are the ones that when it comes to talk and action, pretty simple. They talk little and they let their actions speak. The saying is the actions speak so loudly that you can't even hear what they're saying. And they're also ones that say if they are being coached, they're like, listen, just give it to me straight. What do I have to change? What do I have to do to get better? What can I do to make an impact? I have this goal to make this amount of money this year. I have this goal to, get this promotion this year, whatever. Just in your perspective, how can I reach those goals? And then they turn around and think it through. and they make decisions that help them move forward in their career. But they're definitely full of actions, very little talk when it comes to being a winner. Number 6, when handling weaknesses. They look around the room when people are in a situation or in a team or in a tough spot, and they watch other people make excuses. And they simply look around and say, listen, you know what? As they make excuses, I'm going to make it happen. If it can be done, I'm going to do it. If you think it can't be done, well, give it to me. I'll show you it can be done. And they're the ones that are changing the evolution of beliefs. They're taking people that have limiting beliefs at things, and they're raising their beliefs. They're taking people that make excuses and not be able to get things done, or do things a certain amount of time or whatever, and they're the ones that are figuring out. They're providing a ton of value in the world of business, a ton of value in their position. And they're also ones when, if it is a weakness, if it is a challenge, they take ownership. Hey, listen, this is a problem. Okay, how do we fix it? How do we come up with a solution? They're not the ones that are going to continue to make excuses and make it worse and again, cause drama and kind of go back to that other world. But they take ownership and they drive the business forward. And then last but not least, winners and people that are going to succeed in 2024, the ones that actually use the right language and the right thoughts in communication. So I'm going to give you guys a couple things that they will say. When the world is saying things like, what happened to me? Like, why is this happening to me? They're the ones that are saying, that did happen to me, but I have an ability to take control of the situation. I understand that it's okay. That happened, but I'm going to change it. That happened for me. It didn't happen necessarily to me. That happened for me. What's the reason behind it? What's the learning here if something happens? When, again, the rest of the world throws their hands up and is, this happened, I have no control. There are also ones that when people say things like, everyone's against me, everyone in the world, my family, my whatever, everyone's against me. They say things like, bring it on. Bring it on. My Apple just talked to me. I don't know what just happened there. But I got this. I got this is what they say. When people are saying the world is ending, they say things like, hey, I'm getting pushed. Again, what is this teaching me? Why is this pressure on me? I'm getting pushed. It's meant to serve me. And I'll tell you, they're also saying things like, it's my job to figure it out. It's my job to figure it out. So just remember, again, if you're thinking about your 2024 and you're thinking about accomplishing amazing things, there's going to be people in your world. It could be close friends and family. It could be people in the workplace. It could be people, in your community, in your church, in your team, and in your athletic teams and in general. But there's always going to be people that are going to go from the negatrons to the positrons, et cetera. But if you can shift your mindset and you can shift your world and really get yourself to a place where you're always in that right side of that page that you wrote down notes on, it's very interesting what happens. It's very interesting the people that are attracted to you. It's very interesting the people, and just when you go to the gym, how many friends you have. When it's very interesting when you're in business, how many people are, want to help you succeed. And I'll leave you guys with this. I've learned in 20 years of building and scaling sales teams and building and helping people become entrepreneurs and consulting entrepreneurs and running their businesses. There's an old saying that the more people that want to see you do well, the faster you will do well. The more people that want to see you do well, the faster you do well. And it's very similar in my company here. When somebody gets promoted to more of a management position, when somebody gets promoted to more of a leadership position, typically there's multiple people that support them in that journey. And it's because of who they are and because they've given and they've filled up that cup of positivity. They've actually filled that emotional bank account with positive energy, with skills, with time, and then people come around and want to support them in their journey and what they want to accomplish. So just remember, if you want to be on the winning side of things, it starts inside. It starts with your mindset, and it will only help you accomplish what you want to in 2024. So you guys have an amazing week. We'll see you guys next week. I may have a really special guest next week on our Clear channel for those of you guys that are watching this on YouTube. So have a great time. Happy holidays. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, all those other social sites. You guys have a great week. See you guys.